You ever look at your to-do list and think there is absolutely no universe where I'm getting this done? Same. Today we're looking at what to delegate first. Not someday, not when you scale, but right now. And how to stop wasting your time on tasks that don't make you money, don't grow your practice, and don't use your therapist brain. Hey, I'm Dr. Kate Walker, and we're talking about what you can delegate right now and the first thing you can delegate. So, of course, I'm going to talk about SOPs as well. And we did do a webinar on this last week, an entire 1CE webinar on this. So be sure to check that out as well. But let's get people out of the waiting room and into the group. Here we go. All right, so if you're joining me, you can just hang out and listen and ask questions in the chat, or you can unmute. Just know that if you unmute, that you will be on the recording. So if you don't mind that, then away we go. All right, so let's talk about delegating tasks. If you're hitting this time of year, and I try to explain this to people. I was talking to someone the other day that, our clients tend to, they get through the summer and then school starts and then that first note comes home and then we've got kiddos coming to counseling. Well, we also have on the other side, we have folks that know the holidays are coming up. And once the holidays hit, it's like, okay, who's got the money or the time for counseling? So this is sort of that, I don't want to call it golden time. I don't know what we should call it, but we do see an uptick in our clients. And if you're not, then we can talk about marketing, but not today. This is something totally different. But because we see an uptick in clients right now, if we haven't done the work before now to get our systems in place, we may be feeling a little overwhelmed. So this is sometimes referred to or feels like putting the plane together in mid-flight. You're like, oh gosh, I have to do something. That's okay. I've been there too. You're okay. I'm okay. We're going to be okay. Or you may be thinking, well, Kate, I don't know what you're talking about because my client load is not building right now. I do not see that uptick. I will look at the marketing training, but I need to get my systems in place before my door just gets knocked down. So let's talk about the things to delegate first. And one of the things that I start with the negative, what not to delegate are the things that necessarily, I want to say this correctly, the things that waste your time. Okay, so I'm thinking specifically about social media. So hang with me for a second. So if you think about social media and you think, I'll just speak from personal, right? If I'm going to do an Instagram reel, well, it's going to take me probably 30 minutes because I'm going to have to go find the video. I'm going to have to get the video to sync with the music. And then I'm going to have to make it a catchy little, okay, if you're going to do this, then be sure to check out the 40-hour training and then all the hashtags. And then I have to make sure that it sounds good. I mean, it takes me 30 minutes of time I don't get back. Now, when I talk to another colleague about this in my business world, and I share what's happening, and I share with them, hey, how can I do this more efficiently? They're like, stop, like, don't do it. There is no algorithm that you will hit. The algorithms are so weird now with Instagram and social media that is an extremely poor use of my time. So I have to own the fact that if I'm going to make an Instagram reel, it's pretty much just because I want to make one, right? I must be bored or whatever. So you really have to have a heart-to-heart talk with yourself because just because it takes time to make an Instagram reel doesn't mean you should hire it out. So step one is to make sure you have the most recent information. And my go-to, go to ChatGPT, go to Claude, go to whatever your favorite AI is, and ask it, what is the best way to market as of this date? If I want to be found, then don't just ask how to be found on Google, ask how to be found by chat. Ask chat, how can I show up in your searches? And then do those things. All right, so starting there with things you don't do. Now, let's take social media for a second because I am going to show you my Trello board in a second. And Trello is my organizational system. If you do want to use social media, one of the things that I really like are marketing Mondays or marketing Tuesdays, right? So if you wanted to hire someone to create your graphic in Canva, Canva, it's a program, it's software that someone can build a real pretty graphic for you, and they can remember to post in all of those different groups on the designated marketing days. That's a great use of delegation. It's not going to take more than about 15 minutes though. So thinking about those things in terms of, okay, and this isn't easy. And I talk about this with my VAs, Irvin Nixon Cruz and Jennifer Marie Fairchild. How much time do I need to offload before I hire someone? So if you've got your list and you're like, okay, that sounds good, Kate. I want to start posting in other groups marketing Mondays. So write that down. Write that. It'll take about 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes for your person to build the Canva and get all of those things preloaded so they're ready to go. That's if you're trying to fill up an hour though, let's keep digging. So another thing, once you ask chat, okay, what can I offload? You may get some more marketing ideas, but let's talk about for your practice. So one of the things that if you're still chasing emails or you're still chasing text messages or you're still trying to get clients booked for that first session, right? Let's say you watch the training on the 10 minutes consultation script and you're like, okay, I want to use the script. I want to get people booked. That would be a great thing to offload and delegate to someone else. And a big question may be, well, what do I do about confidentiality? Well, what does anybody do? What does your physician do about confidentiality? What does your dentist do about PHI? Right? They train their staff. They train their staff or they send them to a training, a little 3 hour, 2 hour CE, right? Because HIPAA doesn't specify how long it has to be. House Bill 300 doesn't specify how long the training has to be. It simply says best practices is to be trained in these things. So you're the business owner, you find the HIPAA training or the confidentiality training, PHI training that you like, and you say, okay, potential staff member, I'm going to hire you, but and pay for you to go to this training, or better yet, you give it, right? Because you can be a CE provider too. And they then understand their obligation to HIPAA and protected health information. All right. And that was my alarm to make sure I did this. So moving through that. So we've got Marketing Monday emails. We've got how to get your staff trained. I want to do one more thing to delegate before I move to SOPs though. Um, in fact, I'm going to look over here in chat. If you guys want to pop something into chat that you're like, I want to offload this. This is because this is just, these are things that used to drive me crazy. Your email inbox. There's a great program that we just discovered here, and you guys may be using it. It is called Trello in conjunction with something called Hipparello. Hipparello is a form that integrates with your Trello board so you don't have to use email ever again. It's so you could use this with your clients, potential clients, I should say, put it on your website, and then potential clients could fill out a form. Now, I'm not sure if this particular one is HIPAA compliant. I think there's one that's called Hipparello that is HIPAA compliant that you could work with as well. But once you get that, oh my goodness, then you have a whole system where you can hire someone for 1 hour a week, 2 hours a week, 5 hours a week to go into that Trello board one time a day, get every single card replied to. And that's reasonable for a small practice if you let people know, look, I'm going to reply once a day, or it's going to take at least 24 hours on a business day for me to get back to you. That person that you hire, you can offload your email. You can offload I don't know if texting hooks to it. I don't see why not. But you know me, I don't like texting with potential clients anyway, but that's me. And I think you can probably hook up your Google Voice to that as well. So we have email, we have marketing Mondays, and we have the ability to offload your handling of your clients, the actual phone calls with your clients, training a VA to go through and answer the phone calls using the 10-minute script. All right, if you guys, oh, can you spell those two true? Yes, I can, because I've got one open right now. And the non-HIPAA compliant one, so we have Trello board. That's the organizational system, because you're going to have to pick an organizational systems a way to communicate. And then the form system that integrates is called HIPPORELO, Hipporello. And like I said, I think the HIPAA compliant version is just Hipporello. Okay, and then I'm not going to show you our support board because you might see names up there that you know, but it's really convenient because the cards populate and you reply right through the Trello board. But I am going to show you the board that I shared at our webinar last week, which is blogs. So I didn't mention blogs and podcasting and things like that because if you're a small practice, your number one thing is not going to be starting a podcast. Please don't do that, right? Don't start a podcast. Number one, it's not searchable. It's an RSS feed, which means it's going into Apple, it's going into Spotify, it's going into all these places that people don't search. You want to do a YouTube channel? Awesome, because Google and YouTube are the same thing. So when we talk about blogging, if that's something you want to offload, that's okay, right? Because that may mean in your marketing and you're ready to do some search engine optimization. You're ready to stand out. You're ready to position yourself as an expert. So if you're there and this is the next thing you want to offload, this next part you're going to like. So I am going to screen share. So if you're listening to me on a replay, I will talk about what I'm going to show. So this board is my Trello board that I use with my virtual assistant, Irvin Cruz. And again, if you watch this is the last webinar we did, how to hire a VA and create an SOP. His contact information is there because he would love to take on more people. But a Trello board can be set up any way you like. I can make these lists. So if I want to make a list over here called done there, and then when something's done, I'm just going to slide it over. If I want to start here, so the way Irvin and I work, we do work left to right. And so if something needs a blog post, it goes into this list. If something's going to be processed into the one start here, that's in your profile, Step It Up members. That is a training. It's not for CEs. Then it goes in this list. If it is a replay of a webinar that we are going to repurpose and turn into a 1CE webinar, it goes here. So if you could get up real close and see what we have here, processing an online course, 0 out of 3, 0 out of 3. That means we have, come back, checklists. The checklist for an online course, there are 3 items. And each one of these items has an SOP. SOP stands for Standard Operating Procedure. If you look over here, I've got 11 steps for creating a blog. So when we click on that, you see each one of these is an SOP. So the question you should be asking yourself now is, well, why are they videos? Well, that's because I used to do handwritten, typed right? I'd put them into a Google Drive. I would share the Google Drive with my assistants, but it just, I mean, I must be just too detailed. These would be like 3 and 4 page documents of click here, then click here. Then once you click there, you know, and I was going crazy reading it after I had written it. I'm like, they're never, ever good. And we had a lot of miscommunications. We had a lot of fails. It was too many steps. And so what I've switched to, and I highly recommend you switch to, is screen sharing, screen recording. And it can be as simple as something on your PC or your Mac where you click the button and it records the screen. Or you can have special software like I do. There's something called Loom, Loom as in Mary, Loom. I use something called Camtasia, but the result is the same. And I will show you a few of these SOPs. I'm not going to click from the board though. I'm going to stop the share. And so if you're listening to me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my YouTube channel for SOPs. And this is easy to do. If you have a Google account, then you have a YouTube account. And so if we go to playlists, we have a playlist. Back. Okay, this is much better. I'm going to screen share again. So your YouTube channel, as you start putting videos there, is going to look like this. But then if you go to playlists, you saw I have one that's just called SOP. And when I click on that and I go to my videos, these are all of my SOPs and they are short. Look, this one's 8 seconds long. Okay, and there's no sound. So if I click play on that 8-second video, it's, let's see, the title of this is create an H2 heading in a blog post. So when you click it, what it's showing is how to, there's the drop-down menu, heading to, end of video. That's it. So instead of me putting that into a document that they would have to read and reread and reread, when we go here and you see the checklist, so I've just opened my Trello board again and I'm going through my checklist. Let's see where it's the spot where I have to do an H2 heading. There it is. Copy the whole blog into ChatGPT, ask it to select H2 headings that are optimized for Google searches, create those H2 headings. Oh, there's a video right there. And all Irvin has to do is click that video. And he can watch again and again and again how to make sure that is an H2 heading. Now, that's why I didn't start with blogging when we were offloading things, because if you're blogging, then you better be doing some optimization. You better be having some conversations with ChatGPT about H2 headings. So what ChatGPT does for me, since I always record first, I record, I get the transcript, take the transcript of my words, upload it to chat and say, okay, make this into an optimized blogs, tell me what the H2 headings ought to be, and it spits it out. So I taught my virtual assistant how to do that as well. Saves me time and he does a great job. And I don't have to worry about it being AI's words because it's literally just taking my words. So if you're getting ideas while I'm talking and you're like, I love to talk, I love to give webinars, you can record your presentations. You can do like we're doing right here and just record a webinar. But again, before you offload this, before you delegate it, because this could turn into Kate doing a reel that takes 30 minutes, then you realize it's not doing anybody any good. Don't do that until you have watched the training in your profile. You can watch the training from Couch to Click by Jenny Melrose. And she talks about how to make sure that you're blogging with the right search terms and the right keywords and things like that. Go through your trainings in the one start here module in your profile and just type in SEO. If it says SEO, watch the training. So a lot of what I'm talking about today is, I don't know, I've told you my kids call me a dream crusher, right? So if you came onto this going, okay, I know I'm going to get stuff to offload, I need to offload this and that, and I've changed your mind, I'm okay with that because I don't want you wasting money. I think I've told this story before. I have hired out SEO. I hired it out for a year to a virtual assistant in Poland. And all he did was add a call to action to the bottom of all my blogs. Nothing was I mean, this was years ago. I hired someone else to do blogs for me, and they were basically going to guarantee me that my blogs would be higher in the search rankings. But it almost got me like sanctioned by Google because all they were doing was copying the same blog over and over and over again and changing one or two words. You can't do that in Google land. So I don't want you wasting time. I don't want you wasting money. I want you to really do your homework first. Identify one or two things. And the way I usually do it, I try to categorize it into a task that's going to get me down the road to my financial goals. So that would be marketing, right? So doing a blog. That's not something that I'm going to turn around today and make money because it's a little bit longer return on investment. So that's one category. But then I have things on my list that could make revenue today. And sometimes I avoid those. I don't know why. I just have a mental block against that. But try to really divide up your day and say, for example, if you're listening to me and you're a counselor, how many calls have you returned? Right? How many people have you knocked on the door of their doctor's office and said, "Hey, I just want to introduce myself and make sure you know that I'm local and I can take your clients." How many PTOs have you called and said, "Hey, I'm available to speak"? So sometimes those things you can't delegate, you can't hire out, but you have to do it. So once you have a list of PTOs that you have contacted, well, yeah, then delegate out all the follow-up emails, right? And the phone calls and say, "Hey, you wanted to follow up. Kate Walker contacted you last week." Oh, I hear my dog barking. And I wanted to make sure that you knew she was available to speak, and here's her calendar. So I am going to hit the pause button and answer any questions. If this helped you figure out what to take off your plate, hit like, tap subscribe, and grab the free guide at katewalkertraining.com/free guide so you can stop doing everything yourself and start running your practice like a business.